Hi everyone, my name is TFuentes, and today I'm going to be sharing my presentation on force field analysis. In short, this presentation, we're going to go over what force field analysis is, its purpose and value in educational leadership, when it's used, how it's applied, and I'll share a quick example from my campus. So force field analysis was developed by Kurt Lewin in the 1940s, and then he published it in 1951. And it really just explains how change happens in organizations. It identifies driving forces that push change, as well as restraining forces that hold it back. It says progress happens when we strengthen the drivers and reduce the barriers. So in schools, this tool would be helpful to visualize what's happening and to see what's hindering improvement. It encourages a lot of collaboration and practical planning. The research behind Burns and Cook and Hall and Horde actually supports this approach in understanding organizational change. Force analysis aligns with the organizational development that says that decisions are made better in a group rather than individuals. It promotes teamwork, clarifies priorities before implementing, and it actually builds buy-in among staff. It's really effective for data-driven topics like my attendance, but it also is good for school climate and instructional changes as well. So when do you use force field analysis? Well, you use it before implementing a new plan, before a new strategy, before a change, before making a decision. You can use it to plan and prioritize an action or determine what factors need to be addressed in order for change to be successful, or really just to understand resistance and get a clear picture of the challenges. This tool works, the process is actually really simple. First, you define the goal, then you draw two columns, one for driving forces, one for restraining forces. You brainstorm. You can even rate each force. Then you analyze the balance. You can select a solution and develop an action plan. Here's an example. My data gathering project was on chronic absenteeism at the school I'm working at. And I think using force field analysis would be a really good way to develop a plan to improve attendance. So I have an example. I have my driving forces on one side, I have the goal, and then I have the barriers or the restraining forces on the other side. And at the bottom, I put the group reflection. So how can we strengthen our drivers? What barriers can we realistically reduce? And then, of course, deciding on immediate action so that we can improve. So this is just kind of an example of what it could look like. Implementation. Leaders can use force field analysis in PLCs or staff meetings. It's important to keep the process visual and interactive. We want everyone to be a part of it and all the voices heard equally, as opposed to one or two people dominating the conversation. It's also going to be important to review the chart from time to time because we want to assess changes in forces and adjust as needed. We can even use this in school improvement plannings. Again, keep the process visual and interactive. We want to make sure we model openness and trust and encourage honest discussion. And then one of the most important things is to close with clear actions and measurable goals. So I chose this because I really think it would be a great tool in assessing the goal and kind of coming up with a plan for the chronic absenteeism, which was my data project. I also think effective leaders facilitate group problem solving, and this is a great way to do that. It encourages analyzing, planning, acting, reflecting, and those are all cornerstones for improvement. It's actually really easy to implement, and it's kind of simple, and it gives like a really good visual of what are the strengths and what are the barriers. How can we strengthen, the positives, and then how can we address the barriers to kind of help with that. So it really is a very simple tool to use, and it gives a really clear understanding and visual for people. I used Burns and Cook, Hall and Horde, and safety culture as well. So overall, thank you for listening. I think force field analysis is simple, but it really is a powerful way to help teams work together to understand challenges. It can provide a plan for meaningful action, and it really can help create a lasting change. So thank you so much for listening.